Good evening and welcome to Train Tuesday. I'm your host, Jim Wiggin. A real quick program detail for you. We are doing a pre-recorded broadcast tonight. So we'll have to save those questions for next time. However, we are going to be talking about some great Athearn products, both in HO scale and N scale. So once again, this is a pre-recorded broadcast. So I won't be able to do shout outs, but I want to thank you for joining us tonight. And if you're watching this on the YouTube channel after it's live, welcome. And if you would like to take a look at any of these products that we're going to talk about tonight in detail, you can certainly do that by going to athearn.com and selecting the new announcements banner, where it will take you to both a PDF file as well as a link to the actual cars. You can pre-order anything that we talk about here tonight through your local dealer. You have until Friday, September 30th to place all pre-orders for everything that we're about to talk about tonight. And speaking of which, we're going to talk about Pullman Standard covered hoppers, 2-bay covered hoppers, 2600 series. Now, the PS2 2600s cubic foot covered hopper, these first found service in the 1960s, early 1960s. The car was popular for cement and sand service and could be still found in use well into the 2000s. The most common service, of course, was both sand and cement, but occasionally they were also used as buffer cars in instances where a bulk load was not protected by a bulkhead. For example, an unprotected lumber load in a flat car would require a buffer car between the load and the caboose or the locomotive. So not only is it a good example for something to spot for an industry that would be a cement industry or a silica sand type industry, but you can also use these on special moves like what was quoted here. You can use these on your layout for buffer cars or a special move. Now, the first one that we have here is Burlington Northern number 430211. Now, this is based on a car as it appeared in the 1970s. You could certainly use this going forward into the 1980s, maybe even the early 90s, with a little bit of detail work and a little bit of addition of safety decals that were common at that time. Up next is the Baltimore Ohio. This is based on a 1966 paint scheme. Again, 1966, throughout the 60s and into the 70s, this car would remain largely unchained. This is car number 600401. Fans of the 1980s, specifically within the Midwest, you'll be happy to see that we are offering Chicago Northwestern car 95693 as seen here. Now, all of the cars that I'm showing you tonight are available in 3 different road numbers. So each road that I'm showing you, this is just one of 3 that you can pick up. This particular car is how it would have appeared in 1984. So you could see this car on any layout in 1980s, mid 1980s onward, even in as far as the early 2000s. Going back to the 60s, we have the Dtni. This is car number 11106, and it is based on a paint scheme from 1965. Certainly could justify running this on your layout if you run into the mid 70s. We wanted to do another run of the MKT cars. Again, available in 3 different road numbers. And this car here, 1303, this is based on a 1966 paint scheme. So certainly appropriate on an HO or an N scale layout that's set in the 60s into the early 70s. The last car that we're offering is a little bit more modern. So this would be great for you guys that are modeling the 2000s, the early 2000s. This is the Winchester and Western. And this is based on a paint scheme from 2006. So 2006 onward, this car can be found. And this is car number 4004. Now, I want to take a little bit of time here to talk about the features of each scale of car. So let's start with the HO scale cars. Here's some of the features that you're going to find on these Athearn cars. They're going to have flush or overhanging roof. That's based on the prototype. Highly detailed end cages and etched end platforms for the most detail that we can put in there. They're all going to have body-mounted McHenry scale double shelf knuckle couplers, machine metal wheels with RP25 contours, and they'll operate on all different types of HO scale track. Each car is weighted to the NMRA standard and, of course, accurately painted, printed for prototypical realism. Now, for those wondering, what is the minimum radius that you can run these cars on your layout? These can run all the way down to an 18-inch radius. So they do really well on that, not just because of their shortness and wheelbase, but we've designed them to run on a minimum radius of 18. Actually, a lot of our HO scale equipment is designed to run on an 18-inch radius. Now, N scale guys, you probably want to know what your features are. They really don't differ that much. We try to put a lot of detail into our N scale cars. And so these two will have flush or overhanging roofs, and that's based on the prototype. They're going to have metal etched roof walks, which is really nice in N scale. You can't really make a convincing roof walk in plastic. The metal etched really gives it an authentic look and size. These are all going to have factory installed wire roof rock grabs, which is another great thing that you don't normally see in N scale. All of the McHenry spring couplers that come with these are going to be body mounted for best N scale performance. They're also going to be weighted to NMRA standards. And if you're wondering what the minimum radius is on these, well, guys that are into T-Track, you'll have no problem with these. They'll run on a minimum radius of 9 3/4. So they'll run on T-Track modules, they'll run on N-Track modules, they'll run on Fremo N modules, and of course they'll run on just about any layout. Now, because of the metal wheel sets, they will also run on code 40, which is extremely fine, code 55, which is gaining traction, and of course the standard code 80 found on many T-Track and N-Track standards. So there you have it. Like I said, you have until Friday, September 30th to pre-order any one of these cars. Each road name has 3 different road numbers that you can choose from, or you can buy the whole fleet if you like to add to your fleet. If you ever have any questions, you can always hit us up on the next live stream. We try to get as many questions as we can. Also, don't forget our contact us page over at athearn.com, where you can either send in a question to a tech person with our help email, or you can send in product suggestions with the Athearn product suggestion email. Also, if you're on our YouTube channel and watching this video now, do us a favor and go ahead and like and subscribe to the Athearn YouTube channel, and then hit the notification bell for notifications for future videos that will drop down. Train Tuesday comes every Tuesday, 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. And until next time, everybody, go ahead, do some modeling. And until we meet again, high greens. Good night, everyone.